Everyone, so today's case we are going to be talking about a little boy, and his name was Myron Timmell Traylor. If my voice sounds a little funky, I have been pre-filming, so that's why. But Myron's case is sad because I feel like the family was kind of getting some, they were just getting some really weird things happening to them, and this is a bit of an older case. And the thing is, they still don't have any answers. This is a bit of an older case as well. I feel like I've done quite a few of those lately. And the thing is, it's believed that he's dead, but he is still technically missing because we just don't know what happened to him. We have no idea. So, yeah. But his case deserves to be talked about. And the thing is that there also isn't that many photos of him that I could find. So you'll probably see the same one a lot during this video. I believe there's at least one or two age progression photos, but there really was not many that I was able to find, so I apologize. But let's go ahead and get into this. So all the links I used for research will be down below. Myron was born on October 1st, 1974. When he went missing, he was 13 at the time, and he has been missing since July 27th, 1988. And today, if he was still with us, he would be 48. So he went missing from Phoenix, Arizona, and his case is classified as a non-family abduction. So let's get into a little bit of a description of Myron. At the time, he was 5'5" to 5'6", 106 to 116 pounds, with black hair, brown eyes, a half-inch scar on the right side of his head. He was supposed to have glasses for reading, but didn't have them with him when he disappeared. He was last seen wearing a red and white striped shirt, white shorts with a blue print, and white sneakers. Myron could be described as angelic and having a childlike quality about him, and having an adorable smile. He was in 7th grade at Tavon Elementary School in Scottsdale. Myron spent the school year with his Aunt Sandra and attended school with his cousin. During the summers, he would go back home with his mom, Debbie, back in Phoenix. So Myron had recently joined a Little League team and joined a newspaper route. He was earning money to help pay for a trip to Disneyland with his church youth group. He was in the church choir, and he was also described as a kid who loved his large family of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Myron was walking to his grandparents' house actually with his mom in Phoenix on July 27th of 1998, and the house was located on East Pecan Road. So Debbie and Myron's washing machine was broken, so they decided to take a trip to the grandparents' house to do some laundry, and then they were going to call Myron's brother in California. So I'm never actually going to get into the details of the case. So with his mom's permission, Myron decided to stop at the OK Fish and Chips on 16th Street and Southern Avenue to get a drink. Debbie continued to the grandparents' house and just told Myron to catch up when he was done, and he would last be seen by the store employee at 6 p.m., and the employee says that there was no one else at the shop at the time and that Myron entered and exited alone. And where he was getting the soda, it was at like a little stand. It is an actual shop, but he was at a stand getting a soda, because when I start talking about other details, it's going to get a little confusing, because I was confused because she says there was no one else there. But then later there's a few witnesses that saw him, and they said there was nobody there. So it's kind of like you go to a stand, but there's like an actual shop. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I think I found the shop that they were talking about. If so, I will include it on the screen, so you might have an idea. Obviously it's changed. I'm sure it's a bit of a newer photo, just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So his family says he didn't have a habit of staying out late, and that it was out of character for him to leave without warning. But he did have vacation Bible school at church that night, so his family were wondering if maybe he took the bus there. But later that evening, he still wasn't home, and they called the police because they were worried. Myron's father was in prison at the time, and his mother was ruled out as a suspect, so the police said those two could not have done it. Debbie's then boyfriend, Geddes, Leroy Mintz, was the only viable suspect. He was one of 4 witnesses that saw him getting a soda at the stand, and Myron's aunt said that one of Geddes' arms was actually in a sling shortly after he vanished, after Myron vanished. And that's what I was saying, like the one of 4 witnesses. So, like the parking area, you can see the stand, but there's also a shop. I don't know. It confused me when I was doing my research, so I just wanted to try to make that as clear as possible, I guess. So, that's what I was getting at. So, Geddes claimed that his injury was from a dog bite. Police say that Geddes was involved with drugs in 1988 and theorized Myron may have confronted him about his lifestyle and that Geddes murdered him shortly after seeing him at the stand. And let's talk about Geddes, because in 2009, he actually stabbed his girlfriend and her mom. The girlfriend did pass away, and then he was convicted of second-degree murder and aggravated assault and sentenced to 42 years. He refuses to be interviewed about Myron, so that there just proves that he's not above like hurting someone. He's not above killing someone. He murdered his girlfriend, for crying out loud, attempted to murder her mother. If he's willing to do that to a grown adult, I can't imagine that he's above hurting a child either. So I think he definitely has something there. I don't know if it's necessarily the drug thing. I don't know if a 13-year-old was going to confront his mom's boyfriend about his drug usage. Uh, Maybe. I thought that theory was a little weird to me. Um, but maybe he did something to anger Geddes, and Geddes hurt him. We just don't know. But I think this really showed that he's not above hurting people, so it would make sense that it could be him. But police received an anonymous letter in 1991 that claimed Myron was buried on private property near 24th Street and Jones Avenue in Phoenix. There was a search at that location, but there was nothing there. It didn't show any evidence of anything. And police believe that he was killed and buried near his last known location. So I think that would be OK Fish and Chips in Phoenix. So it's believed that he's probably was killed and buried around that location, which is super, super sad. So we're going to get into the weird stuff that the family has been experiencing. So they have experienced strange phone calls and visits from strangers asking about Myron and his relatives. So after their parents died, Sandra, his aunt, moved into her parents' house and said she was once visited by 3 men claiming to be related to the family. And she would say that she is unsure if the calls and visits are related to Myron, if they have anything to do with him, if any of these people actually know anything about Myron, or if they could even be Myron himself. She says she doesn't even know if that's a possibility. It could be. But sadly, Debbie did die in March of 2002 at the age of 45. She was so young. That is super young to pass away. I don't know what she passed away from. I just know that she did pass away. And to this day, the case is still unsolved. But like I said, it is theorized that he is no longer with us. So that's where we are. If you have any information, the number to Phoenix Police Department is 602-495-5394, and that number will be on the end screen. I definitely think that Geddes is the man. I don't think his mother did anything to him. I don't think his aunt did anything to him or anything like that. I think it was Geddes. Like, it could have been a crime of opportunity and a random person that was at that stand, but knowing that Geddes was there too, and he was involved in drugs, I don't necessarily think that, this 13-year-old boy is confronting this grown adult about his drug usage, like the cops seem to think. Maybe that's how Myron was. Maybe he was a very, not necessarily confrontational, but like, not afraid to speak his mind, I guess. Maybe that's how he was. I just don't think it. The way he's described, it kind of gives me this like quieter idea of him, but maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I never knew him. I just don't think that's why, but drugs could have played a role in this. But I do think Geddes definitely at least knows something. Um, just because, we know that he's capable of hurting people, and the fact that he was one of the few witnesses, I I say it's almost a sure bet that would be him, allegedly. Not saying it was him. Um, I mean, he's currently serving 42 years for murdering his girlfriend, so I wouldn't put it past him to harm his ex-girlfriend's son. So, especially over something like about drugs. So, what do you guys think? Do you think it was Geddes? Do you think it could have been a crime of opportunity? Something completely different? Do you think it was over drugs? Do you think that maybe he's still alive, like his aunt was saying? She doesn't know if these strange things could be about Myron, or if they could even be him himself. Do you think maybe he is still alive? Tell me what you think. Either way, I think it's pretty gross that all these people have been harassing this family. Like, they're just trying to find a Myron and they're getting strange calls and visits. I've heard about people getting strange calls, but visits is just like another level. Like, leave this family alone. You know what I'm saying? But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for listening to Myron's story, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.